Hi, my name is Chris Dickerson, 2015 PDGA Rookie of the Year, and I would like to talk to you about a few rookie mistakes that newer players make and the things you can do to correct them. First off, I would like to talk to you about laying up. It's a very important part of the game. It could save you many strokes. There may be some shots where you have to throw over a hazard and you may not have the distance to get across on your first shot. So if you were to lay up short and then go across, it would be more beneficial to your score overall. However, there are other times where you're inside of 100 feet, but there's some trees and bushes, other things that you need to maneuver around to get to the basket, and that's something I had a hard problem with. I was actually at a tournament where there was a very steep green, and I was toward the top of the hill, probably about 50 feet away, and I could not throw a disc upside down and scoot it to the basket. I would always hook my thumb on the inside and pull it one way or not get enough on it and it would go the other. So I tried laying up by just throwing something with a lot of Anheuser and letting it land flat. But I was very fortunate. It kicked up and rolled, but it hit a tree very close to the basket. So after that tournament, I made it a point to know how to lay up a disc on its top. I would also like to talk about newer players that throw very fast discs to begin with. Faster doesn't always mean more distance. In fact, if you don't have I wouldn't say a lot of arm speed, if you don't have the right form and the right weight of the disc, it could actually mean you're throwing less distance than you actually could get. So if a newer player would get a X1, it's a very fast disc, very fast driver, and they would try to throw it with some turn. It would come out of it. It may go far, but it's not going to go as far as if you would get a straight disc like an F5 or a D3, and you could hyzer flip them, and they tend to hold straight longer, so there's not very much resistance of the disc trying to get to the ground. So a straighter disc is more times than not going to equal out to more distance for newer players, slower arm speeds, and just all around everybody. Sometimes you have to know when to club up and when you can throw a putter to a basket. If the basket is 320 feet, 350 feet away, you may be able to get a putter there, but is it going to be your most consistent shot? You might have to throw the putter 80, 90%, maybe even as hard as you can to get it there. Well, that's more or less a rookie mistake. Sometimes you just need to know when to club up to a mid-range and throw it 70%, maybe 75 to get it to the basket. It would be a more clean release because you're not throwing as hard as you can, and it's just an easier flight overall. Know how to play your own game. There's no need to, in a tournament, try to imitate what someone else does, because that may not be how you play. I've heard some people put it in the expression of, maybe you're just not a thumber player, where that means maybe someone like Big Germ, I've seen him throw overhands. He can throw a pretty far overhand, whereas I wouldn't try to imitate that shot because I don't have the distance that he has. So every now and then, if you see somebody do a shot similar to that and you think it's a better option, it may not always be. So you have to take time out in practice to try different shots and see what you're capable of. Lastly, I would like to talk about knowing the PDGA rules. That's a very big part of playing in bigger tournaments. When you play local tournaments, you get used to the course, and the rules that go with it. There may be some OB, but maybe you've never encountered an OB like in a bigger tournament, and you may not know how to play it, or you may have a certain situation in a group and not know how to call it because you don't know the rules. I've been in that situation on both sides where I have known the rules and I have not, and it pays off to read the PDGA handbook and know the rules.